Hi everyone, and welcome to this next episode of the Golf Clash History series here on the BK Golf Clash YouTube channel. This is episode number 6. Please remember, before we delve into the archives once again, to hit thumbs up on this video and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out the rest of the episodes in the series as well. This one is going to close out 2018, and even though a lot has happened in the year already, as we've documented in our previous episodes, it was not all over yet, and we have the last part of 2018 to look at in this video, including one of the biggest U-turns we've ever seen in the game. In fact, maybe the only U-turn. Who will know? Time will tell, I guess. Here we go. This is what happened for the rest of 2018 in Golf Clash. So towards the end of the year, as teased in the previous video, Golf Clash did some very minor rebalancing of the clubs, tweaked a couple of the attributes. Nothing really too drastic there, and there was also the announcement that you could soon swap your bags in game. So that was a very nice thing. In addition to that, you could also finally use max curl regardless of what device you were playing on. So you could continue to drag that ball to the left or right regardless of the size of screen you were playing, and that would be utilising all of the curl available on that club, which until then was not possible. But on the 30th of November, the announcement here about club boosts sent absolute shockwaves through the community in the online forums. I remember it clearly as well. This was a proposal where you could basically use your surplus club cards. This was, of course, predating the prison chest, to temporarily boost the stats of your club for a certain amount of time or a certain number of games. And obviously that would extend the power or the ball guide or the topspin beyond the current max level of that club. Now, it had a load of negative response from the community. I remember reading countless numbers of comments, and it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed to the point where they announced a huge U-turn and never actually went through with it. Here we can see on the screen a statement from the design team at Playdemic at the time, highlighting that they'd never really tweaked the club stats since they designed the game a couple of years ago, and that the game obviously had been played many, many more times than they had anticipated, and as a result, therefore, players had maxed out their clubs far quicker than they had anticipated as well. Now, as you can see on the next part of the statement, and you can pause and read this if you want it word for word, they came up in early 2018 with the idea of boosts, to use your extra club cards to boost the attributes. And the strategic play behind this was, of course, it could bring clubs into play that were never really used before and would kind of improve the gameplay options available. Now, they did ditch it a couple of times during the process, but in the end, towards the end of the year, of course, they decided to give it a go. The statement then goes on to explain some of the minor nerfing they did on some of these clubs. Otherwise, wouldn't really be anything meaningful using boosts on certain clubs, because you'd have things like the APOC level 7 would be kind of trumping all the other drivers. So that was their balancing decisions there, and they, of course, stressing that they want to keep this competitive and enjoyable for all the players of different abilities. Now, unfortunately, as you will see in the next part of the statement on screen, 24 hours after they announced the feature, to their dismay, the reaction was overwhelmingly negative, and I certainly can't remember, even to this day, anything else that has had such a negative reaction. And as a result of that, they decided to shelve it, and you can see there one of the Playdemic mottos, put the player experience above all other considerations, and they said that felt very appropriate at the time, so they ditched the club boost. It never saw the light of day, and as a result, of course, as we've seen at the start of the video, the max curl tweaks and the bag swaps, those were slightly delayed as well, because they were all bundled in as part of that planned update. And there you can see the final part of the design team statement from the time, summarising the future and how that they're kind of watching people play the game and doing what they can to develop. So as a result of all of that, slightly delayed update there, bringing in those two features that were then, of course, carried over without, of course, the club boost. Of course, we're heading towards Christmas now, and starting Christmas Eve in 2018, Christmas Links tournament, and it was a brand new course announced, of course, still around in the game now, and that was Nordic Fjords. You can see the whole overviews there on the screen. It certainly was a challenging one at the time. It still has its challenging moments as well. There was certainly a lot of balls hit in the water. I remember when this course first debuted in the game. Some long par fives as well, but some brilliant opportunities, of course, to get some hole-in-ones and some eagles along the way. And you can see the flyover on the screen, and still, like I say, it remains a very popular course today in both tour play and in tournaments. So that was launched at the end of 2018. And talking of Christmas, Santa delivered the goods. We had free Santa balls for everyone who was logging in at the time as a happy holidays message from Golf Clash. Now some stats from 2018. 19.3 million tournament entries. Massive stats here. First place medals, nearly 50,000. 4.8 million total weekend medals that year, and 343,000 top 10 medals as well. And there's some more stats for you. 3.1 million holes in one, 2.8 billion birdies, a fair amount of albatrosses as well, and a fair amount of bogeys. There you can see just how many games were played, looking at all of those. Quite alarming stats, really. 367 million hours spent in games, and a total of 4.5 billion balls used. And final stat for you, in 2018, 4.4 billion games of Golf Clash were played. Don't forget to check out the other episodes in this series. Complete your knowledge of the history of Golf Clash, and leave me a comment in the video description down below if you remember some of this video and what your recollections are from your earliest days playing the game. See you soon. Bye for now.